going on, everybody? Mike here with iSMELL. Hope this video is finding everyone well, that y'all are smelling good and feeling great. As some of y'all might have just noticed from the thumbnail, today we are in fact teaming up with Randy, aka the Fragrance Dude. So, for those of y'all that are new here, this is how it's gonna work. Here in a second, I'm gonna hand it on over to Randy. He's gonna run you through some of his favorite summer fragrances right now. He'll kick it off back to me, and then I'll be doing the same. In totality, this will be a top 10 list of summer fragrances, which should definitely be on your radar if they are not already. These are fragrances which we both deem to be summer stunners. In the spirit of keeping y'all's attention though, I will go ahead and hand it on over to Randy now. I do hope to see y'all back over here in a few.
Thank you so much, Mike. So for those of you guys who do not know, I am a new fragrance reviewer as of about 3.5 months ago. My name is Randy, aka Fragrance Dude. So I do want to give a special shout out to Mike, aka iSMELL, for considering me for this collaboration. So if you haven't already, go subscribe to his channel, like and comment to this video. And if you like what you see from me, always come over and give a little skippity pap to my subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. I review designer, a bit of niche, as well as doing some funny voices and shorts. So with that said, Mike asked me to do in this video 5 fragrances from my collection that I consider summer stunners. Honestly, I had a hell of a time going through to try and pick all 5 because I had so many that I could choose from. And so I'm going to get straight into it. The first one that I chose is one that I've mentioned a lot. This is a 2022 release from the House of Lacoste. It is Lacoste L1212 Blanc Eau Fraiche, or Lacoste Blanc Fresh to make it easier. So this fragrance, as you can see, I've used a lot of it. It's advertised as a citrus aromatic woody fragrance. The main notes that you get in it are grapefruit, ginger, juniper, ambroxan, cedar, and lemon. This is a spring and summer daytime fragrance that lasts about 6 hours while projecting for about 2 at moderate. With that said, it's not the craziest projector or performer, but the way that it smells is amazing. It's really unique, one of the most unique fragrances of the year. It's really hard for me to explain it because it's like if you're walking through the woods on a windy summer day and you smell a lemon, that's what you get from this. It's citrus, it's woody, it's aromatic, but you get mainly those citrus and green notes in the opening. And then when you get to the dry down, you get this fuzzy, fizzy ambroxan, as well as some other woods in there and a bit of aromatics. It is really nice and one that you definitely need to wear. I get some compliments on this. My wife absolutely loves it. And for the price, you can't beat it. A lot of times you can find this for about 35 bucks on Joma Shop. So that's Lacoste L1212 Blanc Eau Fraiche, one of the best spring and summer daytime fragrances. So the second fragrance on my list is an eau de parfum and a total summer stunner. This is a niche fragrance from the House of Parfums de Marly. It is Sedley. So Sedley, not only is the bottle hefty and beautiful, we're worried about the juice on the inside, and it's just as good. I called this hyper versatile blue monster, which is pretty much describing it perfectly because it is a citrus, fresh, aromatic fragrance with the main notes of lemon, mint, ambroxan, rosemary, bergamot, and sandalwood. So I'll get the performance out of the way. This is 7 to 9 hours easy with above average projection for about 3 hours. And then it sits a little bit closer to the skin, but really becomes a personal bubble. Never really sits too close. So when you first spray this fragrance on, you get this really natural lemon note with a background of mint that starts to pull up around 15 minutes. My favorite part of this fragrance though is when you get from the mid to the dry down, because that mid is one of the best transitions from the opening to the dry down I've ever smelled, because you have that citrus minty opening and then you get this green floral mid that provides a really nice transition from that citrus to a woody, aromatic, ambroxan base that you get a little bit of musk in there, as well as some cashmerean to give it a little bit of brightness. So it's an aromatic, woody, bright dry down that has that lemon note in the background for about 4 to 5 hours. It's one of the best fragrances for the spring and summer. Although I can wear this in the fall, it's a day and night fragrance, really versatile. So that's Parfums de Marly Sedley, a summer stunner for sure. So the third one on my list is going to slide in there beautifully with the other fragrances in this category, like Dior Homme Cologne, Jimmy Choo Man Ice, or Mercedes-Benz Cologne, where they're like a lemonade slushy. So while the Dior Homme Cologne is like the Dior Homme DNA mixed with a lemonade slushy, this is Yves Saint Laurent YSL Y Eau Fraiche. Pretty much if you took the YSL Eau de Toilette, tossed it in a blender with a lemonade and mixed them together, that is what you got here. So it is beautiful for a summer day. If you're looking to go to the beach, to the pool, or to a cookout, it activates in the heat. While it's not a crazy performer, you get about 5 to 6 hours with about an hour and a half projection at moderate. That's pretty much what you get from all of these type of fragrances. They're heavy on the citrus, so they're not going to last that long, as citrus notes dissipate pretty easily. The main notes that you get here are lemon, ginger, mint, lavender, geranium, and juniper. Well, if you want to simplify this fragrance, really you just need to concentrate on that lemon note, although you do get some mint in the opening, a little bit of geranium and lavender in the mid, with a little bit of fruity notes in there at about 15 to 20 minutes from apple. And then when you get to the dry down, you get a little bit of aromatics, but if you really want to simplify it, just a lemonade slushy mixed with the YSL DNA. Beautiful in the summer day, and one that is definitely a summer stunner. If you're looking to impress people at the pool and just smell amazing, that is what you get here. So that's YSL Eau Fraiche. So the next two on my list are going to be my summer stunners for the nighttime in the summer. I could have picked Azzaro's The Most Wanted, which is great for the gourmand people, but that's more of a versatile all year round fragrance that I absolutely love. So I'm gonna stick with more summer fragrances. And so this next one is a nighttime summer stunner that is great for date nights from the House of Armani. It's Acqua di Gio Absolu. The best way I can explain this fragrance, if you look at the bottle, you have the amber fluid and a woody cap. It's an amber woody take on the Acqua di Gio DNA if you dialed down the DNA and made it sweet. So the main notes you get here are C notes, bergamot, tonka, amberwood, lavender, and geranium. This is going to be one of the best performers out of all of these. Lasts about 8 to 9 hours while projecting heavily for about 3. So really this is similar to something like Rosassi Hawass or Invictus Aqua, where you get those watery C notes as well as a sweet, resinous, ambery, bubblegummy sweetness in there, and that is what you get with this fragrance. It's really nice for a date night. It's a big compliment puller, and so really it's aromatic, it's woody. The fragrance doesn't change too much from the opening to the dry down, except for some of that sweetness really does die down from the opening, and you get a little bit more of that amber wood coming in the dry down. So that's Acqua di Gio Absolu, a beautiful, sweet fragrance, especially for date nights. And it's not going to offend anybody, so it's also a great cuddling fragrance as well. So the last one on my list is a hard one to pick. I was actually going to go with Allure Homme Edition Blanche. It's like a lemon cream pie, but I decided to go with another Chanel because it is super versatile. It's one that I wear almost all the time during the summer, and that's Bleu de Chanel Eau de Parfum, the most versatile fragrance in the line and probably one of the most versatile blue fragrances out there. It's what the line is what started the blue craze, and so the main notes that you get in Bleu de Chanel Eau de Parfum are grapefruit, lemon, ginger, incense, aldehydes, and amberwood. It's a citrus, ambery, woody fragrance that lasts at least 10 hours while projecting above average for about 3 to 4 hours, but it never really comes down to a skin scent. So what you get in this fragrance is the Bleu de Chanel DNA that you're all used to from the Eau de Toilette, which is a fresh fragrance. It has that grapefruit, that incense. But with this fragrance, what it does is it takes the best from the Eau de Toilette and the Parfum. It takes that freshness and that heavy nighttime amber woody fragrance from the Parfum and mixes them together. So in this fragrance, you get a grapefruit opening that the Bleu de Chanel is known for. It's sweet, it's not rindy, it's citrusy, it's really nice. Then you get a bit of bergamot and lemon in there, as well as some pink pepper to provide some spice. And in the background, you get a little touch of this incense, which gives a little bit of smoke. Once you get to the dry down, this amberwood note comes in, it warms it up, gives it some woody aspects, as well as that smoke from the incense pops up, really makes this a really nice smoky, woody fragrance in the dry down, while that grapefruit sits in the background, making this fragrance one of my favorite fragrances out there. I actually hated this fragrance when I first tried it, but now I absolutely love it. So that's Bleu de Chanel Eau de Parfum. So again, those were my 5 summer stunners from my collection. Again, we have Lacoste Blanc Fresh. We have Parfums de Marly Sedley Eau de Parfum. We have the Lemonade Slushy YSL Eau Fraiche. We have the Amber Woody Sweet Fragrance Acqua di Gio Absolu. And then we have your hyper versatile Bleu de Chanel Eau de Parfum. So thank you guys very much. I'm going to toss it back over to Mike, aka iSMELL, to give you his 5 summer stunners. So without further ado, take it away, Mike.
Thank you, Fragrance Dude, for providing some of your favorite summer fragrances with us. I agree with every single one of your selections. They are all summer stunners, especially this Lacoste Blanc Eau Fraiche. If you have not got y'all's nose on this yet, definitely check it out. It exceeded my expectations. One of the best summer releases for 2022, hands down. But I'm not going to ramble too long. I'm going to get into the meat and potatoes of my portion of the list. And what I want to say about this first fragrance is that it's a certified classic. Released over 5 decades ago, it's a fragrance which has literally transcended generations. Fragrance number 1 comes from the house of Dior. The name of this fragrance is Eau Sauvage EDT. So, Eau Sauvage EDT is highly regarded by many as the ideal male citrusy fragrance, and I'm inclined to agree. On a personal level, what I enjoy about this fragrance is that it makes me feel put together and well composed every single time I reach for it. Eau Sauvage is the archetype, the prototype to what later would become the citrus aromatic genre, but in no way get that twisted with this smelling outdated. Eau Sauvage smells like time and care was put into it, which for that reason, it stands as superior versus many of the more modern releases that you are going to encounter out in the wild. As is the case with most fragrances coming out in this era, there is going to be a whole plethora of notes. Instead of reading and listing every single one, I'm just going to show you the ones that stand out to my nose. They are going to include lemon, bergamot, rosemary, basil, oak moss, as well as vetiver. The way this one smells, basically at the top, it has a lemony fresh opening, very reminiscent to the lemon head candy. The way those lemon head candies taste is how this one smells. That's gonna remain for about an hour or so. Then the lemony citrus begins to dissipate, but never fully disappear, and then moves into the heart of the fragrance. That's going to include herbaceous accords, which gives this fragrance a damp green demeanor. As the fragrance dries down, you are going to get a creamy, masculine, barbershop style dry down, which is very reminiscent to the Barbasol shaving cream. That is what this dry down smells like. It's a beautifully blended fragrance and it's well composed. If you're looking for something that is masculine and full of character, but has a lighthearted and on-the-go demeanor about itself, definitely check out Eau Sauvage. It's a summer stunner in my opinion. At the number 1 spot from the house of Dior, we have Eau Sauvage EDT. So we're going to be moving over into the realm of Iris for this next one, which for many, this is going to be a welcomed switch up, considering a good majority of your warmer weather fragrance options do lean in the direction of being citrus aromatics. Fragrance number 2 comes from the house of Prada. The name of this fragrance is Prada L'Homme L'Eau. Now, generally, I do reserve the note of iris for the cooler months of the year. However, the way they utilized iris in this flanker makes it an excellent option for the warmer months of the year. The notable notes on Prada L'Homme L'Eau are going to include iris, ginger, neroli, amber, sandalwood, as well as cedar. Now, the Prada L'Homme line is renowned for creating fresh and clean fragrances which wear like a luxury bar of soap, and I am happy to report that the same is the case with this Prada L'Homme L'Eau flanker. The main difference is it's even more fresher versus its predecessor. It retains the powdery iris of the original, and what they did essentially was amped up the DNA by adding ginger, which gives this fragrance another level of freshness that the OG did not have. This does come at the expense of this being a more subdued version, but personally, I like the weight of how this one wears. At no point after having ever worn it did I feel like it became too cloying, which I certainly appreciate considering I live in a temperate climate. Sure, I can see somebody making the argument that to own Prada L'Homme and Prada L'Homme L'Eau would be redundant, but just take into consideration if you enjoy iris-based scent profiles and you're looking for an iris-based scent profile specifically for the purpose of summer, this one right here is an excellent option. It's a summer stunner in my opinion. Definitely a fragrance worth checking out. At the number 2 spot from Prada, we have Prada L'Homme L'Eau. Okay, so we're gonna be sticking with the note of iris for this next one, but done in a completely different way versus Prada L'Homme L'Eau. Rumor has it this is one that has also been recently discontinued, so if it's a fragrance that has been on your radar now for some time, now actually might be the time to scoop up a bottle before the market dries up. Fragrance number 3 comes from Givenchy. The name of this fragrance is Givenchy Gentleman Cologne. So, whereas Prodalome Low utilized soapy iris, Givenchy Gentleman Cologne utilizes floral waxy iris and then accompanies it with herbs, which takes this in the direction of being a green fragrance. In terms of use and practicality, yes, they both share a similar function, but at no point would it be redundant to own both. The notable notes on Givenchy Gentleman Cologne are going to include lemon, bergamot, iris, petitgrain, vetiver, as well as ambroxan. This one opens up with a beautifully fleeting citrus note, and I say beautifully fleeting because it only lasts like 30 minutes, and then it is going to be accompanied by that floral waxy touch of iris, which does this one a formal touch, and it's going to sit on a backbone of sharp, bitter green herbs. This is a sharp, but also kind of soft fragrance. It's lighthearted, but also classy enough to be pulled off in business casual settings. I will admit this one does not have the best performance, but for what it does, it is absolutely unique. If you're looking for a modern take on the classic Italian style cologne, this is definitely one worth checking out. In my opinion, it's a summer stunner. At the number 3 spot from Givenchy, we have Givenchy Gentleman Cologne. Okay, so the fourth fragrance I'm going to be recommending today is one that I deem to be an absolute quintessential. It's one that I enjoy so much actually that I opted for the hefty 6.7 ounce bottle. Fragrance number 4 comes from Dolce & Gabbana. The name of this fragrance is Light Blue Eau Intense. So Light Blue Eau Intense is a shoe-in for this type of video, and I stand by the opinion that it might be one of the most iconic warm weather scent profiles to have ever been created in the designer realm. It literally smells like summertime in a bottle. Like, it smells like it was specifically designed to be worn outdoors. The notable notes on Light Blue Eau Intense are going to include seawater, grapefruit, orange, juniper, musk, as well as amberwoods. This one is going to have salty, ozonic notes playing off of super acidic citrus notes. That's what you're gonna get for the majority of the fragrance, and it is going to sit on a backbone of warm musks. To the train nose, you'll even pick up on some sharp green juniper, and it does give it a bit of a sweetness, but that's only gonna be to the train nose. Mostly you get ozonic seawater notes playing off of citrus accords. This isn't an overly complex scent profile, but in the dead heat of summer, you almost don't want it to be. Sometimes you just want a fragrance that's gonna refresh you, transport you somewhere else, and maybe even draw in a compliment or two. This is a fragrance that shows up on a ton of people's lists, and for good reason, because it checks all the boxes. Definitely a summer stunner in my opinion. At the number 4 spot from Dolce & Gabbana, we have Light Blue Eau Intense. Okay, so last but not least is a fragrance that shot way up the list in terms of fragrances that I have already been reaching for this summer, which is kind of crazy considering this one comes from a car manufacturer. Fragrance number 5 comes from Bentley. The name of this fragrance is Bentley Silver Lake. So just to let y'all know, I will not be doing a deep dive on this fragrance as I have already done a full and in-depth review. If that's something that you think you would be interested in, I will leave a marker right there. By all means, feel free to check that out. What I will say is that there's a common misconception regarding this fragrance, and that is that this is an aquatic fragrance, which isn't actually the case because there are no aquatic notes actually listed. The notable notes on Bentley Silver Lake are going to include lemon, mint, violet, lavender, pepper, as well as white musk. In terms of how this smells, what I will say is that if you are a fan of the OG Acqua di Gio, specifically speaking for the purpose of this review, Acqua di Gio Essenza, I am fairly certain that you're going to enjoy Silver Lake as well because the demeanor of how both of these wear similar. This one here is not a groundbreaking fragrance. What it is an extremely likable scent profile that people have come to know and love over the years. I mean, Acqua di Gio is literally one of the most popular fragrances ever created, and for good reason. People enjoy it. If you're looking for a good smelling fragrance that's gonna draw you tons of compliments, has great performance, is priced right, it's a cheapy gem in my opinion, this is definitely one worth checking out. Definitely one which exceeded my expectations, and one that I included in this video because in my opinion, it's a summer stunner. Last but not least from Bentley, we have Bentley Silver Lake. All right, guys, that pretty much wraps it up for me. Those are 10 fragrances which both Randy and I deem to be summer stunners. I want to thank Randy, aka the Fragrance Dude, for teaming up with me to do this collaboration. Thank you, brother. I really do appreciate it. I genuinely hope it is the first of many collaborations moving forward. If you enjoy fragrance-related content, if you found value in this video, I am going to encourage you to subscribe to this channel. Listen, it takes like 2 seconds, you guys. Just click the button. It's free dollars. It literally costs you nothing. We have a ton of exciting content coming down the pipe, including more collaborations. You never know who's gonna pop up on the channel, so stay tuned. Until next time, you guys, y'all take care, stay safe. Bye.